Hey, everybody, welcome back to a new edition of Friday Night Review. Tonight, I am joined by the Alpha Wolf, Sean B., aka Sin City Wolf Sean. We have right below me is Metalcore Mike, also known now as Metal Mike. They are coming at us from the table spot, normally on Sunday nights on both Rivet City Radio Twitch and Off the Top YouTube. And the other gentleman is not there. That is also the newest member of the Friday Night Review crew. That would be Phil, whenever he decides to grace us with his presence. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Good.
It's Friday night.
It's New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
Eve.
Will is in the chat. Surprise, motherfuckers.
Last Friday of the year.
Small fries, motherfuckers. And then, especially for Sean, Five Guys, motherfuckers.
Let's leave that in 2023. Can we? No.
Well, we still have 2 days left for that, so we'll keep that going. Welcome back, Phil. How we doing?
It's lagging all over the place. We're doing good though. We're doing good.
Okay. Well,
I might have to join on my phone if anything.
If you do have to come back on a different atmosphere, not a big deal. We'll still be here for you. Just drop us a little note in the private chat so we know what's going on. All right. Hey Shane, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Yeah, I miss you guys over at in the NHL community. Haven't been doing much of that this year once VG went down. And we all miss you, Will. It's been a while since we've seen that face. So
I miss Will a lot. I really do.
it's been a while, right? Like
it really has been.
It's the end of the year. We're going through our little break. We're getting recharged for coming back 2024, making it a big thing. We have a lot on the horizon here within Off the Top and Bot Spots or Chair Shots under the River City umbrella. We have a lot going on. We got some big things coming. We are excited. I can definitely tell you I'm excited where we're going. I know Mike is because he has some big things coming. Sean is ready. He's been sitting there. Man, this is going to be good. New edition of Phil. Man, we're ready. But tonight, we are talking about the AEW World's End pay-per-view. Perfect. Phil said he'll be back. We are talking about the World's End pay-per-view tomorrow night, taking place from Nassau Coliseum. It is the last time that Sting will be wrestling in Long Island, in New York. And what makes that great is this fucker's going to be there. So is that guy. And then once Phil gets back, he'll be there as well, too. So 3 out of the 4 guys are going tomorrow night. It's going to be awesome.
Rub it in my face, why don't you?
Oh, shut up, mister. Shut up, mister. I'm going to Hard to Kill in January. Stop it.
I was about to say, this is the part where Sean goes, oh, you guys are bragging. Stop bragging. But yeah, you're going to a pay-per-view in January, the first TNA pay-per-view.
Right. Bringing TNA back the first pay-per-view. Please. Hop on a plane. I'm sure they can get tickets for tomorrow night. It is AEW.
You can make it. It's only 9:14 here. Pay-per-view starts in 23 hours. You know, just catch a red eye. You'll be all right.
Oh yeah, I'm like on the Rock or something. We could just report.
There we go.
Much better.
I am so sorry about that, guys.
No, you're fine.
Welcome back.
So we were explaining how 3 of us are going tomorrow night to the show, and we're all hyped for it as hell.
Indeed. Yes.
Oh, I'm jealous.
I was going crazy on Wednesday night when they announced this thing match because that's all I
loved
wanted.
it.
That's all I wanted. I didn't care who he was wrestling. I just wanted to see him one last time in Long Island because the last time I saw Sting wrestle there was when he was with WCW.
The last time I seen Sting wrestle was in 2011 at Bound for Glory against Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Well, the last time I seen Sting wrestle was WrestleMania 31. So
I
Ooh.
think the last time I saw Sting wrestle was in AEW. It was at I think it was like the first Grand Slam or something like that
Oh wait,
that they
no.
did.
It might have been Revolution this year. Did he wrestle at Revolution this year?
Yes.
I think he did.
That
yeah.
was the last time in San Francisco.
I could double check for you.
I saw him
mean-
at least in this AEW run. I know that for sure. But I wanted to
me
see him
too.
at least one more time before.
It was just
He
so
hung it up.
forgettable that unfortunately, that I forgot about it.
I'm just
I
so
was
glad
really-
though that we get to see it.
That's all. I just want to be able to. I get to sing Jericho's theme tomorrow night. I get to see
Yes.
Sting come out. Like, I really don't care what happens. I'm happy. That's
Honestly, with how everything kind of turned out with Kenny, obviously it's never good that Kenny went down with what he did. All wishes and prayers to Kenny. But this is honestly a really good backup plan, if anything. This is a good audible in a way
See,
to get people in there and
Since Phil
Make it
brought
happen.
that up, Mike, does that null and void our
Yeah,
predictions for?
because that match is no longer happening.
Yes. So
Thank
that
God.
so
So,
the tag team title match, yeah, I crossed it out already.
So-
And
really wrong about Dolph Ziggler being his partner. It was
Number-
fucking Sammy Guevara. Like,
number 2,
I thought it was just going to be Sammy and
And,
Jericho versus them, but they just went with the 8-man tag.
number 2, Sting did not wrestle at Revolution this year.
well, it might have been like Dynamite or something in that week's run that they were here in California for.
Could have been.
But yeah, I'm excited for the show tomorrow night. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to the show tomorrow night. I'm excited. It's my first AEW show. I'm glad it gets to be a pay-per-view. And like I said, I'm just happy I get to see Sting wrestle.
So, my friend that's going with us too, this is her first live wrestling show. She's never been to a live
Period.
wrestling
Okay.
show. Period. Never. So
That's in okay.
I'm excited to be able to take her to this show because to be the first one to take her to a wrestling show, I'm excited for that.
I hope I'm sitting next to good people.
Well, hey, Scalz, you said it that it's going to be less than 10,000. Maybe they'll move people in the upper deck down. Maybe we'll be down where you are because I think we're right above you. We're not too.
Yeah,
far.
we're not that. I think he said he was in 107. We're in 209. So,
107. Yep. 107.
2 sections over and 1 section up. That's it.
Yeah. Right now it's looking like we're gonna have a house of 9,000, which is honestly really good for AEW standards. I know 9,000 is not a lot, but compared to what Dynamites and Collisions have been
Correct.
getting, like in the 2,000 to 4,000, 9,000 is good. So I'm taking that. You guys can take it however you guys want, but I'm taking it as that's going to be a pretty good house, especially for Nassau.
I mean, Nassau doesn't really hold.
That's what I'm looking up
That
right now.
much.
What they hold. They hold for basketball. I'm sorry for cutting you off. For basketball, they hold 14,000. For concerts, 15,000. For ice hockey, 13,917. For tennis, 6,500. For theater, 4,500. So it all depends on what you would consider under the pro wrestling thing. You're looking at over 15,000 people it can hold.
Mhm.
So it all depends on what they consider pro wrestling. What they consider it a concert, because at a stage, but you also got to remember the ring. So that takes away
Yeah, the stage, the ring,
maybe 1,000 seats.
setup.
So maybe 14,000 people.
They didn't do all the seats behind the stage, so I'm
that's
curious.
sure.
I'm curious if they would have
Yeah,
decided to go with a smaller setup, like how WWE just did for Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
I'm curious if they would have done a smaller setup if they would have been more seats and what they could have actually got to.
Look, I'm taking 9,000 as a win. Again, anybody else can take it however they want, but it's going to be a good house and it should be a good show.
No, there's nothing wrong with the 9,000 because it's actually pretty packed based off of what the way the setup is. Like this past Wednesday, I actually thought was probably one of the best ways AEW has looked in a long time because they decided to
sure.
book a smaller an arena, and it actually filled
I
up
think
and it looked like it was a packed house. That's the way they need to book things going forward. They need to stop trying to book these 15, 20,000 arenas and only selling 5,000 seats because it makes you look like a
Right.
second-hand organization.
They're also only doing one side of that venue. Whenever they're in like those 20,000 like seat venues or whatever, they're only doing that one side for the hard
Mhm.
cam. They're basically blocking off everything else. Maybe they have one section on the other side of the camera, but other than that, it's just the hard cam side, which is only counting for the 4,000 to less seats. So, again, you're making yourself look bad in presentation. Just book the smaller venues. But I get it. You know, there's also expenses and, you know, cost for running the TV product. There's a lot that goes into that. But
The thing that really the thing that really irritates me is seeing all over social media. You always have those handful of people that want to post pictures of empty sections of shows and everything like that. Like I'm sick of that. Like
they're not
even
real
if
wrestling fans.
even if there's 4,000 people in the house, so what? They drew 4,000 people. That's 4,000 fans. Who cares? Enjoy what you're there to enjoy.
Are
Stop
you
taking-
there to watch the product, or are you there just to shoot a picture and get clicks?
That's what they want. That's what it is. It is to get the clicks, the like clicks. Oh yeah, you only seen this with 4,000. Who cares?
They
Back
end up looking stupid themselves because you still gave AEW your money for those tickets. Like
exactly. But you look at it this way is like you go to small places like when we went to the ECW back in August, ECW Arena back in August. That place seats maybe 3,000 people. So what? There were people there to watch. You go to an indie show and some of these indie shows like you see 100 people. Who cares? It drew 100 people. Who cares? Enjoy what you're there for and stop trying to freaking put out crap like that. Like that's it upsets me. I that's the one thing that upsets me is the fact that people have to put that out on blast. Like let it go. Let it go.
If you're a
At
true
least let
wrestling
Raw
fan, you
do
wouldn't
that.
be doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they need to. If they started booking in smaller arenas, it would make the presentation a lot better, and then you would not have those people taking those pictures anymore.
No, you still
Like-
would. You still
No,
would.
because you had people posting last night full pictures of AEW on Wednesday, and it was great.
Yeah. And people are still going to do it regardless of venue. Because you know what? That's exactly what wrestling fans now are nowadays. They're going to get the clicks no matter how they ever want to spin it. Whatever way you want to spin your narrative, that's the way you're going to spin it. And if it's going to be one-sided or the other, depending on whatever company you're going to support, it's bullshit. Just support pro wrestling and
Yeah.
stop with the crap.
And that's what I mean is I used to back in 2007, 2008, I did security for a local promotion here for a couple shows. And they used to run in the same place every month. And this place sat, I think, up to 400 people. And there was times where 50 people showed up. There was times where 30 people showed up. There was times where it was a packed house. It all depended. It all depended on what you've seen as far as what matches were going to be on the card and who was going to be there. And if they had a special guest. For example, they had an all women's tournament. And Sunny was the special guest. So it was a packed house. Why? Because she was there, did a free meet and greet, got to talk to her, all this stuff. Like, that was a packed house. The following week, they drew 50 people. But they announced their cards on the website and you knew what matches you were going to see. That's what they did. But it's still they still drew 50 people. That's 50 fans. So what?
Can I just say also, if you're one of those people online that are actively rooting for AEW to die and take food off of wrestlers' tables and their families' tables and my friends' tables, you're a piece of shit and you're not a wrestling fan.
Okay, but
WWE isn't the only be-all, end-all company. Yes, the mecca of wrestling. And I know your brains are conditioned to have only one wrestling company, but more wrestling is great for every product involved. WWE, TNA, AEW, NWA, whatever. More wrestling brings more competition, more amazing storylines, more everything. That's what you want.
But here's the thing.
AEW existing is good for the pro wrestling business.
It's not only that. Just to build off what Phil just said. Yes, it's good for the pro wrestling business. Why? Because from 2001 to 2019, 18 years, we got one big product. Yes, TNA, they tried to have a big run. They had a pretty good big run between 2006 and 2011. And then they started having their issues, whatever going on. They fell off TV where everybody can see them. Then they ended up on Destination America. And now they're not on regular TV, but you can see them on sources like YouTube and everything like that. But if AEW were to go away, those people that are hating on AEW and want it to go away, they still watch. What would they do in 6 months if AEW went away? They'd get sick of just watching WWE. They would. Then they would want AEW back. And guess what? You wanted AEW gone so freaking bad. Now you're getting sick of seeing WWE. Well, you were part of the problem that made AEW go away.
Where would all these people be if it weren't for AEW? Someone probably land in WWE, but most of them would be on the indie scene. And I'm not saying that the indie scene is bad. Obviously I know people in the indie scene and they are making good enough money to support their family. And you know what? I respect the grind. Obviously, that whatever you gotta do to support your family in this business, you do it. But most of those people wouldn't even have jobs if it weren't for AEW. And CM Punk would not be back in the world of professional wrestling if it wasn't for a company like AEW.
Agreed.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
No, not at all.
So,
not at all.
Just enjoy pro wrestling. And I saw the comment and it's like, show me on the cornet where they hurt you. Look, it's just the way pro wrestling fans are nowadays, man. It's just enjoy pro wrestling. Stop with the bullshit and just stop with the tribalism is going to be in everything that we do. But it's just, I enjoy pro wrestling. I don't support one company over the other.
I have a little plastic bracelet or whatever you want to call it. It says support pro wrestling on it. I wear that every fucking day. So.
And I'm the same way. Like I love AEW. I love WWE. I love Impact / soon to be TNA in about 3 days? TNA? I watch
14th.
Wow. Well, okay, the 14th. So about 2 weeks. So,
I'll be there.
Wow. Women wrestling. When I catch it on TV, I'll watch it. They put on pretty good product for what they do.
My best friend is now the world champion after being retired from, wrestling for like 10 years. I just want to throw that out there. Congratulations, Barbie Hayden, Abilene Maverick. I love you.
I gotta get back into WoW, but I've heard WoW is doing some good stuff.
Every Saturday night, 11 p.m.
And I'll say this, every company is doing something special in their own unique way. WWE has the Bloodline storyline going on. AEW has the Devil storyline going on. TNA, they're building their stories. WoW has their own story. Like everybody has their own special storyline going on. Yes, you may not like one over the other. And people, like for example, people are getting sick of the Bloodline storyline. I'll say this. I'm not. I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah.
What's going on, Cam?
I am. I'm excited to see what happens next.
So, Cam.
I said it, as much as I wanted to see Cody win the title, I'm not upset that he lost. I won't be upset if he ends up facing Roman at Mania and loses again. I like Roman's reign.
Oh, I'll be mad that he loses again because I'll be there, but that's another story, another day.
I plan on being there because Philly's only 45 minutes away from me. I plan on being there.
I'm planning on trying to be in New York in summertime to meet Stacy Keibler.
Oh, Stacy. Oh, she doesn't age a goddamn day. I love Stacy Keibler. Oh, and by the way, thank you, Trish.
But it's just the fact, like, enjoy what we have, because at one time, these past those 18 years, we didn't have it. We didn't have it.
How
Wrestling should not just be a
miserable was it?
monopolization. So.
Like, I love WWE, don't get me wrong, but without AEW forming, how miserable was it watching week after week after week when they were doing
It was not miserable.
well, okay, not miserable, but it was like stressful.
Not miserable.
It really wasn't. It really wasn't
it was-
between 2001 and 2012.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm
Like-
talking about more recently before Triple H took over when Vince was on his last legs. You know,
Between 2015 and 2019 was
Yeah.
a struggle.
that's what I mean.
Struggle.
Because from
But I'm saying before that, you actually had decent competition with
No, of
TNA
course.
Impact
Yeah,
when they actually had a good television package. But once AEW came back, and like they always say, competition brings the best out of people.
Yep.
And WWE may not have thought of AEW as competition, and that's the way they spoke about everything. But you could see now, after everything that's been going on, they did. They just didn't want you to know that they did. And plus, Vince was still delusional.
Is better off for AEW, and AEW is better off for WWE because they create competition for each other and they
Okay,
can bounce back off.
the first year of AEW,
That
that is what was great for the business. This AEW, not so much. They need to get back. They need to get back to the fact of AEW is different.
The one thing that I
They gotta-
feel like made them
they gotta
different
get that
was
alternative again.
the one thing that I feel like made them different was when they said we're going to go by ranking systems. Wins and losses matter. They grew away from that so much, and that's the one thing that really, really hooked me from day one with AEW. Was like, all right, cool. Wins and losses going to matter. Let's say this guy gets, for example, say Orange Cassidy was 15-0 going into Double or Nothing. He was the number one ranked. That means he's the number one contender. And then it starts from Double or Nothing, the end of Double or Nothing. Then you continue it. And say Orange Cassidy continues winning. Okay, then he's number one contender at All Out. Like, that's what made them different. And they grew away from that so much. And then they tried to bring it back coming out of the pandemic. That was so short-lived.
Yeah, I
was so excited to hear them come back with it. And
when they took away the whole ranking system, I actually love the ranking system myself. I thought it was going to be meaningful for television purposes and everything like that. But then all of a sudden you saw people that we rarely even got to see on television, and this is when AEW Dark and Dark Elevation were a thing. They were at the top of their rankings, and we never got to see those people because they were either on Dark and Dark Elevation, and they just got random title shots, and we were like, why the hell does when like Yuka Sakazaki or whatever, I'm just using her as an example or whatever, I don't think ever really got a title shot, but I'm just saying, if she just automatically shot up to like the top of the rankings and she got a title shot like on a Dynamite, why? We never got to see her. So I was like, that at that point in time, the rankings were like, all right, what are we doing here? But I like the idea of it. They just strayed away from that way too quickly, and they just didn't really want to build
What-
upon it.
What got me was when FTR was the number one ranked one, and they were not getting any title shots.
Or
They were
that
number
too,
one
yeah.
for like 6 months, and they kept getting overlooked for title shots. That's when you knew
Yeah.
it did not matter at all.
The one thing that did hurt them again, and it hurt a lot of things, obviously, was the pandemic. Like, they had to try and put on
Yeah.
entertaining thing, and that's when they grew away from the ranking system thing, was the beginning, when everything started happening, and people were staying home, so they thought, when the guys and girls that, decided they didn't want to travel, then they had to do something different. That's fine. That's understandable. But then you got back. Then coming out of the pandemic, it's like, okay, then get back into it. And they were getting ready to, and then they just said, you know what, fuck it, we're not going to do this.
Yeah.
And I think with the position they're in, I'll say this: MJF's world champion right now. Christian's the TNT champion. You got Tony Storm as the world champion. Anybody who's champion right now, coming out of World's End, going into 2024, they can hit the reset button and do it with all the titles except the world title, because obviously, the Devil storyline is going to be surrounded by the world title, or the world title is going to be surrounded by that storyline. Okay, you got all these other titles that you can run your ranking system with. And then once this storyline's over, you can run your ranking system for the world title. Or just make the world title that one special title that doesn't go by the ranking system. All the other ones go by the ranking system. World title can be your main storyline.
The ranking system should be based for the TNT title, the TBS title, and the tag titles.
And that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your world titles, build stories, and then even if they wanted to, if you take one of those mid-card titles every once in a while, build a story. Like right now, you have Adam Copeland and Christian. They have their story built and everything like that. Okay. Once this story ends, go back to the ranking system with it, and then take like the TBS title and build a story around it. Then once that ends, take your tag titles and build a storyline. Highlight certain areas and rotate it maybe every 3 months. That way each division gets highlighted and each championship gets highlighted at certain points and has the focusing. Because you look at WWE right now, what titles really have storylines built around them? The World title, WWE Universal Championship have stories built around them. The Intercontinental title doesn't have a story built around it. United States title,
Nope.
Doesn't have a story built around it. Tag team titles,
Nope.
no story built around it. All the other titles, except not even the women's world championship or the WWE Women's Championship, don't have story. Well, I mean, the WWE Women's title does have a story built around it, but not as heavy.
Yeah. The whole damage control thing, they're slowly building towards that. But
The United States
But yeah,
Championship right now, you have the storyline going on with the tournament.
But
Intercontinental Championship, there's supposed to be a match coming up for the chance to fight Gunther again. You have the longest reigning IC Championship right now in Gunther.
But but you don't have like a steady flow of a storyline. Like they're having tournaments and battle royals and all this stuff to bring on a number one contender. It's not like they have somebody building a story solely with Gunther. Now, if they would take the winner of that tournament and then build a 2 or 3 month story with them, then there you go. But you're taking, like, the Miz had the championship, the Miz had a shot. Then you said, okay, we're gonna have a tournament, or not the U.S. title, not the U.S. title. Logan Paul, okay, I'll take the U.S. title. Logan Paul won it. Now we're gonna have a tournament. Okay, take the winner of that tournament and build that to Rumble, and then after that, start building a story with Logan Paul and somebody else, LA Knight. But start building a story with somebody else. Yes, I kind of LA Knight there because I want to see Logan Paul and LA Knight. That's my United States title match.
Logan Paul and LA Knight. That's your Mania match right there. But yeah.
Or LA Knight, Kevin Owens.
Nah, Logan's retaining. That Kevin's great,
But
but I think he's just going to be in there just to get a good match out of Logan. But that's another story for another day.
anything else we want to touch on before we wrap it up? We've
Nope.
gone an hour and a half. We've got an hour and a half so far, so we got some good conversations tonight.
I'm good.
No?
I think I don't know if I anything.
All right.
I'm good. I aired out my grievances.
Oh, I have grievances for days, but I'm saving them for many different times and subjects. And
I can I can come up with some more if you want. For another show. Like this roster for AEW, I can talk about that shit all day, but we'll
we
talk
could
about that
do an
later,
episode on that. We could definitely do an episode on that.
because
but yeah.
think an actual roster split would be great for that, but we'll talk about that later.
So let's wrap this up. Sean, where can everybody find you?
You can find me every Sunday night on the Table Spot on River City Radio, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. And you can find me on my socials, Applewolf Sean B on TikTok. Click the link and it'll take you to other socials because I don't feel like saying them all.
Phil?
TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, @Fullymet_. It's right there on the name tag. Also, subscribe to my podcast channel if you don't mind the shameless plug. Outside the brand, we are doing this whole new thing for 2024, and it's gonna be a lot easier for people to at least understand what we are doing for the years. So 2024, whole new season for OTB. Let's go. Thank you guys.
Mike?
All right, I got a long list, so bear with me. You can find me at MiddleMike714 all across the socials. I'm talking TikTok, X, Instagram, and even Snapchat. Don't be afraid to add me on Snapchat because I post things on Snapchat I post things on Snapchat that I don't post on X. I post things on Snapchat that I don't post on TikTok. Add me on Snapchat. Don't be afraid. MiddleMike714. As far as here, you can catch me every Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Table Spot with Sean. Earlier in the day on Sunday mornings at 11 a.m., you catch me on Rivet City Red Zone with Johnny H. On Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch me on Prince's Movie Madness with Prince.
Thank you, Mikey.
Thank you, Mikey P.
Thank you, Mikey.
I am Scalz. As you can see across the banner on the bottom, that is a link to the Off the Top Media merch shop, where we have merch from Off the Top, Sin City Wolf, and there are about to be some new stuff coming out once the new year hits. So be on the lookout for that. We have our shows that we normally do every week. On Tuesdays, we have NXT on Tap with myself, Phil, and Jax, where we cover NXT. Friday nights here normally is 10 p.m. right after SmackDown, where we give a little SmackDown review and then we do our football picks. Only a couple weeks left in the football season, so kind of excited for that to see where that goes. Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Normally we have Ringside Chatter. It's a little bit on a hiatus right now. That'll be coming back in the new year. Might be moving to Sundays for recording purposes. And then, sorry for the interruption. That should be back shortly as well with Shadow. And yeah, we got lots of things coming for 2024. Like I said earlier, for Off the Top and for Rivet City Radio. We want you all here for the ride. Make sure you guys are here for the ride. Make sure you guys enjoy it with us. Spread the news. Let's get us out there. Let's make this popular. Let's have some fun. Anything else you guys got to say before we sign off?
Just one real quick announcement. Special day and start time for Table Spot this week. It is not going to be on Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because of it being New Year's Eve. We are going to be live on Monday afternoon on New Year's Day at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Y'all get to see me hungover and tired of shit, so
And what are you going to be covering on Table Spot this week, Mike?
We are going to be doing our World's End reactions.
So if you guys missed the pay-per-view on Saturday night, make sure you check it out here on Off the Top YouTube, as well as the Rivet City Radio Twitch, so we can get all your results and news from AEW's World's Ends. I want to thank everybody for coming out, and we'll catch you again soon. Watch out for us in 2024. Have a great night.